What's up, everybody? What is going on? They're constantly doing these updates to my phone here. And now they changed everything around. Sometimes they're for the better, sometimes they're for the worse. I wish they would ask you, do you want this update? Want this new look, or you want to keep the old style? I wish they would ask that. All right, so let me jump into it here. So this is going to be a quick one here. I know this is completely anecdotal. I keep forgetting my freaking water bottle here. I am trying to get away from drinking out the plastic bottles and stuff, but I just keep forgetting it in the house. So let's jump into it here. So I went into a furniture store very recently, actually, as I record this today, and the guy just happens to bring up his dating life. The guy who's helping me, pick out stuff, just happens to bring up his dating life. Just happens to help me. He's helping me talk about it. He happens to bring up his dating life, and he's just telling me the guy's in his age group, and he was in his mid-30s. I asked him how old he was. We got to talking. It didn't help me take down the price, just to be, just so you know, just an FYI. And he said the guys in his age group are all done because he said there's no return on investment. There's no return on reward. He said he didn't use the term juice word, not being word to squeeze. He didn't use any of the talking points, but he said they want too much and they're not giving anything in return. This is what this man said, and we're talking. And I understand this is completely anecdotal. This is obviously in the country side portion of the country that I live in, and there's certainly ways to go around this. I'm not saying when I'm offering any type of statistical analysis, but it is interesting that a guy in his 30s would just start talking to me about this. He didn't say he watched my shows or anything like that. So he just starts talking to me about whatever. We're having a good conversation. And then he brings up, and he said to me, if you think what I'm saying is bad, the guys in the 20s are completely checked out. Now, obviously, this is her circle. I didn't ask him if he did any statistical analysis and anything like that. I understand it's all anecdotal and all that. I get it. But I am saying that it's interesting. I am saying that it's interesting that a guy would talk like this. And I asked him specifics as to, what would make him think this way, talk this way. And he just said, girls, they want, yes, things paid for immediately. Nothing less. This is his words. Nothing less than $100 date. And he said they don't offer anything in return. They don't offer anything in return. What do you get for what you put out? So he's like, again, this is a furniture store. He's like, listen, he don't even have company. So, talk about this quote unquote male loneliness epidemic, quote unquote, guys not dating. Here's a guy, a complete stranger to me, kind of validating that. I didn't ask him, I'm not going to get into all to his personal life, but whatever he was willing to share, he shared. So it was interesting. And I think we got to take a serious hard look at what's going on here. And I don't know, I've been taking a hard look as to whether this situation can be fixed, or is it just time to just call it? Just call it. So, young black dude, with a job, obviously, and trying to do his thing. Crazy. Crazy to think about. I just want to drop this as something for us to think about when it comes to all these different conversations that we're having. He was just walking out in the middle of the street. All these conversations we're having about this and what's going on in the dating market. And this guy from out the blue just starts talking to me about this. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, I love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. People have been telling me for a long time it's cooked. It's over. It can't be fixed. About whether a young man was with a black brother, and he was saying that him in his age category of in his 30s, mid 30s, and the young brothers in the 20s were completely checked out. These are his words, almost verbatim. Completely checked out. They don't want to hear it. They ain't going on dates. They're not taking anybody anywhere. They're not taking anybody on dates. They're not talking to them. And I often think about some of the words that Anita was talked about. That some of these problems are self-inflicted wounds from the ladies, things that they brought upon themselves. Standards being too high, and some people, all the stuff we talk about in the space. Some people are, they charge you for this because they don't like you that much. Oh well, you want to take me out? It's $100. Well, somebody else is taking you out or clapping for free. So, and guys are seeing this. They're seeing it. They're seeing it. So, and for this young brother again to bring this to my attention, just a couple of guys having a conversation. It was an interesting conversation. I wanted to stand there and talk to him longer. I wanted to invite him to the show. He seemed kind of quiet though. But of all the things we could have talked about, that's what we talked about. So, and he works at a furniture store, so I'm imagining he's seeing a lot of different people buying stuff and making moves, and guys probably restocking, get divorced, people buying stuff because they're moving in with someone's, all these different changes in life. So that's kind of what brought us to our conversation. But this brother's like, nah, I'm good. I'm not taking these ladies on these dates and this, that, and the other. So again, I recognize that this is not any way academic or research based. It's just one guy, anecdotal story, whatever. I just wanted to say that it's interesting. It is definitely interesting. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Hit me in the comment section. Are you noticing this as well? So take care.